men and heartbreak. Or we've made it acceptable for women to grieve in public spaces.
I think eventually we'll get to that point where it's commonplace where we can kind of express ourselves about heartbreak. Heartbreak, whether it's for a man or for a woman, there's still a lot of shame behind it.
There is no place, right? That men could just say, yo, you know what? This week, this is what I want to talk about. This is what's on my mind.
What up, what up, what up? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I want to thank you for joining us for another edition of the Charles Coleman podcast. We got to take a moment of silence.
Okay.
Trinidad Carnival is over. And so that means that there are no fewer than 20 black men running around right now because their girl is on somebody's Instagram getting her bumper rump dump on.
Jesus.
And she told him when she left, oh, it's not sexual.
Right.
Don't worry about it. It's not sexual, it's cultural. And he fell for it.
He fell for it.
How are dudes still falling for this? It's 2023.
But I'm gonna say this.
Don't.
No, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna
Out of respect for the 20 men.
No. I'm just gonna speak to hypocrisy. I'm siding with the 20 men.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Because my wife is Trini, so we've had these conversations, and she said this is all cultural, and I get it. However, if I'm on Instagram doubling up on something, then it's not cultural.
Facts.
The hypocrisy.
The hypocrisy. There you
That's
go.
all I'm saying.
I just feel bad for these guys because somebody's gonna be like, hey, yo, ain't that Diane?
Ain't that Charlene?
Ain't that Charlene?
Charlene.
You know, and then you gotta sit there and be like, well, she said, you know, it was cultural.
Right.
Yo,
Right.
it's 2023.
Listen.
Miami, maybe.
No.
Crop over, no. Eastern Parkway, sure.
Hey.
Most of our listeners don't even know what Eastern Parkway is if you're not from New York, so that's fine. Trinidad,
Yo.
if you don't get the f- out of here, that is not happening, Jack. We gotta move on. This is gonna bring us to our shortcuts, and the game that we play is one gotta go. I'm gonna give you 4 things, and you're gonna have to decide which one has to go. I gotta actually go to my notes for this one because I was really proud of the ones that I had. All right, here we go. Def Comedy Jam, In Living Color, Dave Chappelle Show, or Martin.
I hate this game.
Like
I hate it.
And you're going first. You're going first. What do you got?
This is really difficult,
Curt says it's easy. Curt also thinks that The Color Purple was a romantic comedy,
as well as Precious.
as well as Precious.
So,
Yeah.
Too classic.
and Live in Color.
What?
Yeah. And the answer's the wrong answer.
No.
Yes, and the answer's the
There's
wrong
only
answer.
one right answer.
There's
This
only one. Well, yeah, but you'll probably get it wrong. But
No.
what?
I'm going to get this one right. Trust me.
All right. Well,
Here's why. I know in Living Color is like the blueprint, but in anything, right, when there's a blueprint, like somebody comes or something comes and they build upon it and they just do it better.
Sure.
So that's kind of why I chose it. Like I felt like what the Chappelle show did was like they just built upon that and just became, it's like Dr. J and Jordan to me.
Okay.
That's how I look at it.
I mean, it's your choice.
And then Def Comedy Jam and Martin, like, I guess you're just gonna choose to get rid of one Martin.
Correct.
yeah,
That's what made it an easy choice.
that's
for
what
me.
makes it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Martin got to go.
Martin's got to go. I agree with
Yeah,
you.
that's it.
Martin's got to go.
Martin got to go.
Martin's got to go. Def Comedy Jam, you get Martin, and then you get everything else.
Everything else.
Right? Like Cole, Tommy, Gina, Shanae, bye. Sorry.
I don't know, man.
Martin's got to
And,
go.
and each one of those characters was represented on an episode of Def Comedy Jam.
There you go.
We got it all already.
So you still get it. So
Okay.
Thinking man.
Told you I got
I
it.
love
man.
it.
You got it.
You on it today.
You were scared though. You were.
You went to bed last night and you gotta really get
Says who?
I like it. I like
Says
it.
who? Goddamn.
This is something that happened recently. Robert Kelly, back in the news, again, caught another dub. 20 years on that ass for a child pornography case. This one was out of Illinois. So like people were like, I still think one of the funniest comments that I have heard is somebody was like, yo, nobody can beat R. Kelly in the verses. And he was like, yeah, the state of Illinois beat him in the verses and actually did. So we've seen this, right? Incarcerated in Brooklyn, convicted federally, convicted at the state level. Has there been any change in the conversation that you've observed as black men around sexual assault, protecting girls and women in our community? Anything on that level? Like, has this registered?
I don't think so on from those aspects, but I have been hearing a lot more of people that are involved in his case. Like I now know that his appeal starts from the original conviction from New York.
People still fighting it.
Yeah, so I'm like,
Videotaping all.
everything. I assumed that we were still on some cancel everybody thing. So when he first got convicted and got the first 30 piece, I thought it was over for him. Like, we weren't checking for the homie no more. But cats are still out here really thinking that the boat is going to swing a different type of way. So
they're like on some Tory Lanez, like, the truth is going to come out. Like, what? What are you talking about?
We saw the truth.
There was an opportunity for this to create a broader discussion. And I am fully aware that everybody was not going to get on board and everybody was not going to sort of wake up and have this epiphany about the issue of sexual assault in community, about the issue of dealing with our young girls. Because too many of us are scarred. Like, I can't tell you the number of dudes who was like, well, I remember in the 10th grade, somebody was coming, 22-year-old dudes come pick up the girl I like.
Right.
Yeah, get over it. That was 30 years ago. What are you talking about?
Nah, still love her. Still love her.
I found her on Facebook.
Word.
I did hope that it was gonna broaden a different discussion. It seems like it hasn't registered at all.
First of all, the misogyny within itself is as strong as ever. Like, it's not going. It's all tied up. So the whole idea of like sexual assault and it's all tied into misogyny.
What about their parents?
Right, and like this, everybody's to blame. Here's what makes R. Kelly's situation very unique. Music culture in general. There's always been a prevalent way of life in this culture, which there's been older men who've been preying on younger women.
Sure.
Always. With them, and this is not to give them a pass in any sense of the word, because it's all disgusting. But like you see somebody like Sam Cooke and Aretha Franklin. Yeah. He was a grown man, she was a child.
Today's word, ladies and gentlemen, is lecherous. I repeat, lecherous. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
What you want to give a definition?
Of lecherous?
Yeah.
No, nigga, that's the word of the day.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Have you ever heard of somebody being a lech? It's short for lecherous.
Okay.
Which is basically an adjective. It essentially means that you are someone who is a sexual predator.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's really what it is.
I never heard of that.
Lecherous, motherfucker.
Lecherous is like you are extra, you know those guys, the creeps. You are a creep. Like,
so that's always existed. But in those situations, like they were like, no, I really like this girl or whatever, and they were relation. Like R. Kelly was like on some real like monstrous stuff and, kidnapping people and
Allegedly.
No, it's not allegedly anymore. He's got convicted. There's no alleged.
It's about to get reversed. What happens after that?
Oh, okay.
As a lawyer, seriously, say for example, you lost a case, right? And this person got all these different types of labels to put on it and then came back and won on the appeal. Can we remove those labels or? Because at one point you were convicted of this stuff.
It depends on what the nature of the appeal is, and it depends on whether the appeal grants a new trial or whether it exonerates you and like vacates your conviction. If it vacates your conviction, then yeah, you would technically remove that.
Not from a court of public opinion, because that doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, that
doesn't matter. To the point, like that's R. Kelly. It's just so like monstrous the stuff that he was doing. Like it's not going to change the conversation about that because what he's doing is almost like.
So you feel like it's so grandiose that people think it's just out of reach?
Yeah, it's not. They're not going to put it in the same boat as Woody Allen and his stepdaughter, which is another disgusting thing. But it's like, oh, they love each other.
Or, for example, someone, just to use a real life example from the neighborhoods that we grew up in, someone who was a hustler coming to pick up. They don't see it in the same way.
They don't see it in the same because it's not like R. Kelly. It was like other crimes attached to, basically. It was
an enterprise.
Yeah, there was a system.
I have maintained for a very long time that this was a collective failure of community, that we failed these girls. I really don't want to hear about parents because the question becomes like, so what if their parents weren't the most responsible adults or their parents failed them or they didn't necessarily have parents who were in place or in position? Do you know how many adults there are between a young person and R. Kelly such that this had to be allowed to happen? So it's a collective failure. That being said, I do hope that at some point, the more and more we keep seeing this, like we have to begin to approach these young people, girls, women, as if they were our own daughters.
I'm not disagreeing with that, but I want to stand on the premise of we also have to respect these young girls and women. I feel like that's one of the undertones for why these things happen, right? It's like how you explained it's more like an enterprise, right? But there's no wall to stop it because everything on the opposite side of that world we don't respect or love.
I think the two things can go together and they're not mutually exclusive, but that's what it is. That's going to bring us to our contributor segment. What are we talking about today on Style and Performance with you, sir?
Today's style and performance topic is something I'm really, really excited about. I'm really excited to see the return of dance music, right? And also the desire from people to want to go out and actually party.
You know who's not excited for this?
You?
No, I'm fine with it, but niggas who can't dance.
Oh, this is true, but I don't care. I don't care about them. They're not my audience, so I don't care.
Do people still practice dances? Is that
Younger,
still a thing?
the kids, yeah.
The kids do.
The kids
but
do.
they're doing it for the old people, the TikTok and all that
The
stuff. Like
TikTok.
the
No,
TikTok.
I mean,
the TikTok.
You know you old
The
when you
TikTok.
add on the
That's right.
Oh, it's on the Instagram. It's on the, just when you know you're old.
Right.
Thank you, senior.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So, minus the kids who's doing it for that reason.
But I
When's the last
disagree.
time you heard a joint and was like, yo, let me get home
I don't
and
think
see if this stinky leg still works. Come on, like, that's not a real thing.
I don't think they do it for it. I think they live in a world where they have to record and document and post everything that they do. I think it's always been part of the culture, particularly Black culture. Young kids and dance. It's always been a thing. It's never not been there. It's just now.
I'm talking about us.
No.
You're rocking the party. I get the invite. I get fresh. I get
ready.
there. And then you throwing on the joints
not-
back to back. And I'm like, damn. Son.
Nah, if I'm
There once
DJing,
was a time, right?
But you're not gonna know. The whole premise of like preparing and rehearsing, them days is over. You just go, them days is over. But you show up, but people want to express themselves through movement now. People want to express, and there's music now that's coming out. Big shout to Drake with what was it? You Know What, Never Mind? That was it. And then, Beyonce's Renaissance and Kate Renata's always been just, there's a lot of producers, a lot of artists that are putting out
Feel good music.
feel-good music, high vibrational music, and people are wanting to go out and dance. And for a long time, you've heard the complaints. I've complained. As a DJ, I've complained because I've known Charles to tell you, this is what I do. I make people dance. But a lot of times you go in spaces where there's no space to dance. Venues are filled with tables,
bottle service,
and couches, and whatever. And more and more you're seeing small places they're building it out to have dance floors, and the energy is there. People want to dance, and I'm excited about that because why else are we going out? Like I think I spoke about it before.
for the Instagram.
Right. People showing up and
For the Instagram.
for the Instagram.
For the Instagram.
People showing up and filming themselves, only partying for like 30 seconds at a time to post. And you know what I'm saying? Like those days, I don't think they're going anywhere. Those people will still exist in those spaces where they want to hear music that doesn't encourage them to dance. But there is a big movement in which dance music and people wanting to dance.
But I think the dope thing about what you were just talking about is the more that those spaces become normal, the more that when you come and you sort of like doing the selfie every 30 seconds, you actually start looking as corny as you are.
Yes.
Because you start being in the minority as opposed to like now it's 50-50, or you might be in the majority if you're one of those people. But as those spaces continue to grow, I think that it normalizes not doing that in a way where it's like, yo, rest in peace, Chad. What did he say in Wakanda? In the first one, he's like, we don't do that here.
Yeah.
We don't do that here. Do you have any particular parties, areas, hot spots that you're aware of?
Yeah,
Like where that's going on?
for sure. So I have my party, Studio 55. You were at it for my birthday. You guys missed it. Charles did cut a bit of a rug.
I actually did dance.
He did cut a bit of a rug. There's Everyday People with my boy DJ MoMA and the whole East African crew. Like it's a global party. Like they travel everywhere. Africa, States, everywhere. Huge party. The Do-Over out in the Bay Area is still a big dance party. Soul and a Horn is a huge dance party with Natasha Diggs. Even D-Nice taking Club Quarantine from IG. Right. And it's, they're here in the movement, and I'm so happy that it's back.
We're in a space now where we have access to so much different music and so many more sounds that a dance party now is going to expose you to so much that you may not have heard of 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And I think that that's a really dope thing. So Big shout out to people dancing and partying the way they're supposed to party. That
Right.
was Style and Performance with DJ CEO, our contributor segment. And I hope that those of you who do like to party, and I hope that's all of you, are partying and enjoying each other responsibly. So shout out to that on the contributor segment. That's going to move us to our main conversation for the day. But before we do that, make sure you do yourself a favor. Reach down, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, the Charles Coleman Podcast, whether you are catching us on YouTube, whether you are listening to us wherever podcasts are streamed. We are your new home for Black Brilliance. Like, share, subscribe. So I got both of y'all on the couch today. I got the brothers. We running the triangle offense. And I thought about this because it's been a conversation that, not for any particular reason other than I think it's important for us as men to be able to demonstrate certain vulnerabilities, I did want to have. Men and heartbreak. It's commonplace for people to joke and be like, who hurt you? And then like for some dudes, like it'd be like, do you really want to know? Because I could tell you a story.
Right.
A long one. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's not necessarily something that there's any roadmap to do. I remember, I think I joked with, I had G on the couch and we were talking about a particular celebrity and how she just put everything out after her divorce. Well, we've made it acceptable for women to grieve in public spaces and sort of get their reaction and their sympathy. But for men, we've all seen our friends go through it, but there's like never necessarily any real roadmap other than like, yo, man, shut up. Let's go on these strippers. Like, you know, like, so what is the roadmap? Is there a roadmap?
I don't think there's a map, but I think we are on the road.
What does that mean?
So,
Word.
So as men, and we've talked about this on this couch, men are now becoming more vulnerable about their feelings and what they've gone through with other men. It is happening, right? Okay. So that's what I'm saying. We're on the road. But that's just like generally our feelings, whether we're stressed out with work, life, this, that, and the third, right? Mm-hmm. I think eventually we'll get to that point where it's commonplace where we can kind of express ourselves about heartbreak. I think we do express ourselves about things that we go through with our significant others. Yeah. Heartbreak, whether it's for a man or for a woman, there's still a lot of shame behind it, right? You feel...
That's a good... You know I've never even considered it in that way.
Yeah, it's shame in either the fact that you were rejected, or for a lot of men, our heartbreak comes almost like as a boomerang for breaking our significant other's heart.
It's a grief.
Right. So it's like, oh my God. Like,
and also shame at, in some ways, failure.
Yes.
Yeah, as men, you don't process it like, I failed at this.
Yeah. Like I can tell you this right now, and all in my life, the moments of heartbreak, my maximum number is 2 dudes that I know that know about my, it's never going to be like, fellas, we need to sit down or whatever. It's like at max 2. And usually 1 out of 2 is just circumstantial. You just have to be there at the time. You have to be there.
When you open your mouth about something that you think you're the only person in the world dealing with. You be in a room with like 3 other dudes, they'd be like, oh yeah, I went through that in 88. Mm-hmm. And they'd be like, oh, that happened to me in 92. Mm-hmm. You'd be like, I'm not the only one. Wow. And now you have a different sort of space to explore that or something similar. It's easy for us to have the C word conversation. Yeah, she was crazy. She was doing crazy stuff. Like, that's easy. Yeah. We'll do that, but we're not as ready to admit this crazy girl that you said is crazy broke your heart. Like, and you want her back too. Like, that's the other part too. Everything you said, you still not ready to leave. Or you weren't ready for her to leave or whatever. And I think that can be confusing. Yeah. And a lot of men don't know what to do with it.
But is that our space?
Is what our space?
I'm sitting here thinking about the conversation, right? Because we all like and respect one another, we're willing to, CEO, if you got something you want to talk about, I got an unbiased ear for you. I'll sit there and listen to you, right? But is that a real space for us? Like, you get what I'm trying to say? Like, outside of the beat down of what we're going through, there is no place, right? That men could just say, yo, you know what? This week, this is what I want to talk about. This is what's on my mind.
Well, I think the space is as real as you make it. Well, like, if you know what I'm saying? Like,
but then who's invited to this space? Because to me, like when we use the word shame, that struck a different chord for me, because men, most things that don't work in our favor, we view as failure, right? And to me, that's an unbalanced way of thinking, right? Sure. Which is fine, right? But in that, right, in that level of vulnerability, you want to be able to to cultivate that room that who you want to be that vulnerable with. You get what I'm trying to say? So then now we every time we meet, we talking about the new heartbreak or the new failure or
hopefully not. So it's twofold. I think that you have to identify yourself to whomever it is you're comfortable with,
Right.
in saying like, "Yo, listen, I feel like you kind of down bad right now," or whatever. Maybe you don't say that, but like, I feel like you might be going
Let's
through
use
it.
that example.
I feel like you might go through it. Like, I'm just letting you know, like, if you really want to talk, like, I'm here, because like I'm seeing you move around and you ain't really moving like the way whatever. So that opens the door to the conversation. And then I think after that, if it becomes excessive where it's like every other week you getting your heart broke, bro, then you have one or two choices. Like either, yo, let's go to the gym. Let's go do something else. Let's do something different other than sit here and talk about you wearing your heart on your sleeve. Or
leave Keisha the fuck alone.
there you go. Like if you could have an emotionally honest conversation, maybe you sort of begin to sort of unpack. But why do you keep making this choice? For example, right? Like, well, asking those types of questions. And then, like, if you really on super AP advanced mode, you could be like, have you thought about therapy? Like, not even like, I mean, I'm not even trying to be funny.
You
like,
said AP advanced mode. That is usually my first suggestion.
Therapy?
But what I'm saying is,
and what's the reaction with that? Tell me that most cats
so,
is like, yo, you trying to play me?
No. So
That's what I'm saying.
funny?
Right. You know what I'm saying?
So
we don't have these spaces.
This is no. So for me, and I can only speak for myself.
Go ahead.
And I've mentioned this before. I've been truly, truly, truly blessed with a circle where I don't have to create or look for.
that's
right?
emotional maturity.
Right. And then also over time, like when you have these circles, most people have multiple circles of like whatever, like people's roles start to be identified, right? Just naturally. I don't know how this happened to me. Maybe it's because I'm the most vocal, but no, seriously, like I've become the guy that my boys call and be like, yo, fam, I did it, and like on some real stuff. And I'm just like, what? Like people, and elders, like, yo, I want to talk to you about this, and I'm like, how did I get to this point? But it's clearly something that I put out, something of how I carried myself or spoke about my relationships.
You listen.
Right. And yes, I am not biased, but I'm that guy in a couple of my groups where it's like they'll call and it's like, this is happening, I'm going through this. So for me, my experience in my circle, those roles haven't been established and that space exists.
But it's clearly a reflection of how you show up.
Yeah.
That's just really what it is. It's how you show up. Do you, Curt, have a model for how you as a man dealt with heartbreak?
Well, as someone who's dealt with a lot of grief, I would always tell someone to go through it, right? And what I mean by that is don't try to avoid the feelings that you're having. Right, just get through it. And prayerfully, on the other side of that, you'll see some level of growth and maturity about that particular feeling. But yeah, go through it. Right. A lot of people try to avoid that hurt. Just hurt and get over it.
You can't get around it.
Right.
What about you?
Again, therapy. And the reason why I say therapy is because any advice that we could ever provide is only based on our experiences, right? And that's limited. It's depending on who you are, like it could be extremely limited, but at the end of the day, it's still limited, right? Our shortcoming is that even when we deal with women, right? How this whole thing about mansplaining, like when women come to vent or explain whatever, we're always just trying to like solutions. And
what's the answer?
Right, but with men, even though we are, sort of like innately solution oriented, when you're in that heartbreak space, you kind of tap into what they would call like your feminine energy. Is like, fam, I'm just trying to, I'm not really looking for answers. And so sometimes that can be confusing coming from another man. Like, bruh, like.
I think that the idea of heartbreak is one that men need to begin to wrap their heads around for so many different reasons. We talk about misogyny in community. We talk about America's increasing emergency around broken men. We talk about the gender wars. All of these things, in many respects, are connected to men and our experiences and not having any sort of real space to process them the way they need to be processed. And that's the thing that I think we have to be aware of. To your point, Curt, not leaning into it, not feeling it, not allowing yourself to feel those feelings, that don't work.
That don't work.
It does not get it done. If you are somebody who is like a listener and you are watching this, like don't play yourself and be like, who hurt you? It's not cute, it's not funny, it's petty, it's corny.
Right.
Although you may say so in jest, you can't on one level purport to care about the mental health of Black men and then like take little shots at them like that. Right? Like at the end of the day, if you feel like you're dealing with a broken man or you feel like you're dealing with a brother who just really hasn't gotten over whatever trauma, pain, grief, shame, guilt that he's dealing with, then it's better maybe just to withdraw yourself from the situation than to like go back and be petty or whatever.
Right.
Because the only thing you're doing is, quite frankly, you're digging a hole that's deeper for the next person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so if you can recognize that they're hurt, instead of sort of like rubbing salt in the wound, I ain't saying you got to heal them. I ain't saying you got to sort of be part of their healing journey. Don't make it worse. Just
like,
remove yourself.
You got the wrong number. Let's go to somebody else. I ain't the one.
That's going to do it for our main conversation today. This has been for the brothers on the Charles Coleman podcast. Stay tuned. We've got rules of engagement coming up. But before we get there on our spicy conversation on love, sex, and relationships, do yourself a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button if you're watching us on YouTube. If you are listening to us wherever podcasts are streamed, whether that's Spotify, Pandora, Amazon Music, Apple Music, we are everywhere like air. We all the way up, we outside, we in hyperspace. Come get with us. The Charles Coleman podcast, your new favorite podcast, the new home of Black brilliance. Y'all see the looks, so you know what time it is. This is Rules of Engagement, another part of the Charles Coleman podcast, your favorite segment, and we are about to get into it. This is our adult conversation on love, sex, and relationships. Let's go on and get started. We got a good one today. This is it's a sex combo, so we're going to get started.
Here we go.
We are all looking like movie stars right now.
Yeah, I feel that. I
I feel a little movie star
We out
energy
here,
right now.
giving a little stardom.
So to that point, movie stars,
Yeah.
let's talk about it. The sex tape with your partner, is it a go?
No.
No?
No.
No?
No.
Just under no circumstances?
Not in today's time. It's too risky right now. I got too much on the line. These sex tapes is getting leaked.
I always am curious, who you think really wants to see your sex tape? I mean, not you specifically, but like in general, like we regular people. Like
You haven't seen my sex tape. That's why you made that comment.
Jesus.
Oh, Jesus. Now, that being that, shots fired. Mr. Six Shooter himself.
Watch
sex
your
tape.
tone
Watch-
and your conduct.
Yeah, we gonna move it over here. Sex tape, is it a go?
Nah, no dice.
No dice?
No dice.
Why
No.
not? Y'all are some
Because
not-
cats, the world we live in now, the vaults don't have locks on them no more. Like, cats is just in and out. Like, nobody's holding nothing sacred. Nobody's keeping it to themselves.
All right, so let me change the scenario. One of the critiques that I get sometimes is that like I ask the questions, but I don't really answer the questions.
Yeah,
so
you
I'm
do
gonna-
that. You do that.
A lot.
Yeah.
It's a trade secret, all right?
Okay.
So I will really be transparent.
Promise?
Yeah,
Good.
done them, would do them, did it again, like whole volumes of shit, like dressed up, Star Wars, Harry Potter, Dungeons Dragons, whatever you cosplay. Let's do it with it. The rule was when I was in law school, I'm holding on to the tape, so it's not getting out. If we break up, which we always did, I'm gonna give you, like I'm destroying it so I can have peace of mind, but then I'm gonna give it to you so you can have peace of mind. So now it's even. So my question is, if you could keep it on your joint or your
So
VHS.
you just whole dated yourself
Word.
because ain't none there remnant
Of
available
nothing.
right now.
So-
Your whole joint is on the cloud.
Word.
Now it's not on the cloud. That
It's
shit's
on the
done.
cloud.
It's destroyed now.
I'm just saying, at the end of the day, right now,
You're
we
fucked
doing
on
this.
beta.
Right. Ain't no VHS, ain't no DVD.
So-
you
so-
know what I'm saying? Like,
no, yeah, I'm done. I'm
on my iPhone.
now, but
We talking about now, right?
so if it's your phone, even if it's your phone, you wouldn't, even if it was your phone and you could keep it,
You can't
still
keep
wouldn't do
it.
it? What do you mean?
You can't keep it. I don't want to let secrets out, but you can't keep it. You think you can keep it, but you can't keep it. You
Nothing
can't.
is safe
What-
right
what
now.
happened?
I'm not volunteering this.
Yeah.
What
video.
about trust? What happened to trust?
Trust who?
Soon
Trust
as
in your
soon
partner.
as she got mad at you, she's already texted
I
out.
understand you.
It's
But
over.
what I'm saying, I understand you as a man, but like, what? Yeah, that's what women always talk. I want to be with somebody, my partner. You don't trust your partner?
No, I don't trust my partner. Why do you think I'm divorced now?
Damn. All right.
He leaked the joint?
No.
Twice. I got both of them.
Right.
I just don't. What's the big deal if it's between you and your partner?
I'm just saying there's no reality where it's just between me and my partner anymore. So any video that we're creating right now, the mediums that we need to use to create the video is not protected.
Yeah, it's
so
compromised.
You could literally get a phone with a memory card, or get a camera with a memory card and record off the memory card straight to the camera. That's it, and just y'all watch it on the memory card.
It sounds like something he loves to do.
It sounds like something.
Stop taping yourself, man.
we in the studio,
It
fam.
sounds like something.
And make sure you wake up
trying
first.
to coordinate and convince
Because
somebody.
nobody want to
up
see
in the
dead
near
wood on
future.
the fucking camera.
I'm just
I
asking.
invested in this burner that's designated simply for our sex videos.
Ass shots only.
I just want. Okay, so with that point, what if it was angled where you can't see nothing?
I mean, then what I'm confused as to what do we want to discuss here? Do we want to discuss, do we videotape ourselves having sex? Are
If
we
your
talking
partner
about
came to you and said, "I want to do this because I want to
Drink
watch
is
us,"
good.
I want to do this because I want to watch us in action.
okay,
And your response is what?
turn the mirror around.
That's it.
That's it.
You can't live
Live
in
action.
You can't live in
Get
Nobody
the face
nobody
work.
wants to videotape the game.
You can see
right?
it.
What'd you say?
Nobody likes to videotape the game. You want to watch it live.
Well, that's a fair point. But sometimes you want to, for the classic games, for the really good games, you watch them over and over again on ESPN Classic. Though.
Ooh.
So,
But do you want to keep that team?
damn. Again, y'all.
Classic team ain't too good 30 years later, son.
I mean, I just feel like sometimes it can be cool to go back and look. And then you can also sort of play with it. You know, you can
I
do
hear
it.
you.
You just not with
Live
it.
action is great. Though.
Live action, that's it.
Shout out to those who like to do it live.
So let me ask you, because this has happened to me. You getting into it, your partner, so on and so forth, is
Take it
going
easy.
down. Partner reaches, passes you the phone. You just gonna be like, nah, we're not doing that.
I'm gonna think somebody's on the line. I'm gonna say hello.
No, they put the camera on, dummy. They
Oh,
pass.
so hey, what's up?
They,
Yeah, I'm about to bust it down. You want to hear this or what? You might want to call back.
no,
She get a new TV set. She
No.
call you back,
they hand you the phone and it's on record.
and but she's doing that because she wants to see her.
She
perform?
wants to see her get smashed.
Oh, okay.
You gonna do it?
That's what she wants.
So then, what's the difference?
You said, "Am I walking into the room intentionally? Tripods everywhere.
Yeah.
All these cameras we got here set up in the bedroom.
So you say
Action! Nah, I'm not with that.
But in the moment,
But in the mood of what my partner needs to stay within the mood,
then you're open to it.
unless it's compromising the integrity of me.
So basically, back shots only.
For her,
Yeah, yes, that's
there's
all.
no peg video.
Oh no! Well, I ain't gonna say nah. If that's what you do, that's what you
Nah,
do.
I don't.
But what I'm saying is,
Stop trying to fit
Word.
the info.
what I'm saying is,
Stop it, man.
nah.
You like fucking on
You're the
camera, and
porn
it's okay.
star in this triangle right here,
And it's
you
okay,
are
man.
shooting
We don't
multiple
judge
videos.
you
We
because
know
you
what?
like getting work
It's
done.
all right.
You know what? It's all right. I'll take that.
your work.
This has been another edition of Rules of Engagement with people who don't apparently like to be on camera unless it's on the Charles Coleman podcast.
There you go.
Period.
We hope that you've enjoyed today's conversation. It's all right. Whatever it is you like to do it and do it well. Enjoy it. Make sure there's good lighting and good sound because you're going to want to appreciate that later on. What do you think? Leave it in the comments. Is it a no? Is it a go? This has been Rules of Engagement on the Charles Coleman podcast. I hope you've enjoyed. We'll see you next week. Peace.